Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back to a stage production, the final stage production of this particular performance, mind you, that you can attend to for free with unlimited seating, but you get what you pay for. Tonight, we are going to be entering the closing act to Neo, The World Ends With You. We made it, folks. We're late tonight because my sleep has been abysmal, and I have a feeling it has more, it goes deeper than just being tired, but that's neither here nor there. Tangents aside, welcome. If it isn't obvious, we are in endgame territory, kind of extra content, secret content territory, so please make your way to the nearest exits if you don't want to be spoiled. I appreciate you coming all this way and hope to see you again soon. But yeah, we're here. My name is Bscat or Robert, depending on how you want to address me. I am the streamer, I am the player, I am your particular guide to this particular playthrough of this particular game, and as always, I am tonight's MC, finally closing the book on another game chapter of this channel here. In terms of important announcements, don't really have any at the moment that are relevant, so let us jump right into it, shall we? We're already late as it is. So last time we had explored another day, the kind of bonus day to the World Ends With You series. The original one had that as well. And we had gone back to collect the secret reports, which just involved going back and defeating previous bosses, which wasn't that great, but that's neither here nor there. Today we are going to kind of check out the fruits of our labor and find out what exactly happens when you have completed all of that. So, we are here at the cusp of the final day, I guess part 3. The final day, part 3. Let me pick a good track here. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so let's check out the secret reports, stuff that we've been collecting, well, kind of the entire game, but we really collected last time. So, for those of you who played the first game, that you know that the first game secret reports were penned by none other than Mr. H, Mr. Hanakoma, who wound up being an angel in disguise and allying himself with Joshua, the composer of Shibuya. So who is running this one? We got a lot of reading to do, so excuse me. 3 years have passed since the game that caught the attention of the higher plane. Observation is still ongoing, but from the UG, it looks as if Shibuya is on the brink of catastrophe once more. I am forbidden from intervening in the game this time, so I'll have to settle for recording the changing state of both the RG and UG here in this report. The Executor first intruded on Shibuya 3 years ago. Originally from Shinjuku, this angel started a clandestine game with Shibuya's composer, which ultimately led to Shinjuku's destruction. Really? This angel started a clandestine game with Shibuya's composer, which ultimately led to Shinjuku. Are we talking about Shibuya's composer? That would be Joshua. He should have been reprimanded as soon as he arrived in Shibuya, but the elites are turning a blind eye for some reason, possibly because most higher plane denizens still oppose Shibuya's impurification. This game resembles said impurification in that it is subject to a set of extenuating circumstances somehow keeping it in balance, which are as followed. Difference of opinion and subsequent conflict on the subject of Shibuyu's destruction, the absence of the composer, the game being played by two proxies, and direct interference by the executor. Neither the executor, who wishes for Shibuya to be destroyed and purified, nor the composer, who has managed to prevent this up until now, can directly intervene in the goings-on of the UG. If they wish to take action, they must do via proxy. The executor's proxy in this game is the conductor, Shiba Miyakaze, and the composer's is a human player, one Rindo Kanade. I will henceforth refer to Shiba Miyazaki as the conductor and Rindo Kanade as the proxy. For those, this terminology was used in the last game as well, with the conductor being shades. That'll make sense to most people, and the proxy actually being Neku. And this actually ties back to what I was saying before about a really neat little detail that you could actually see Joshua in the opening cutscene giving the flung pin back to Rindo. That was essentially him integrating Rindo into the game. Perhaps spurred by the appearances of the proxy, former Reaper Sho Minamoto has resumed activity after an extended period of silence. Furthermore, I'm picking up vibes similar to those emitting from Shinjuku just before its purification. They're still faint, but I will keep a close eye on them. So Sho has been weirdly absent from the scene for the 3 years in between these games. As we know, Miss fucking Fairy Princess Coco actually brought Sho back after he was utterly destroyed by Joshua in the last game. But he really hasn't done anything until Rindo entered the game. With a proxy in place of an acting composer, the game is affected in numerous ways, the most significant being the implementation of bogus rules by the conductor. One such rule is the division of players into teams, presumably adopted from Shinjuku's rulebook. Under the team system, whichever team earns the most points over the course of the week may choose to either continue playing or not. If they choose not to continue, they may return to the RG if they so desire. However, only the composer can send players back to the RG. The conductor has no right to implement such a rule and no ability to carry it out, which means the game was rigged from the start. There was no way for them to actually return to the RG. As such, it is in the conductor's best interest for the winning team to choose to continue playing. To assure this will happen, he has allied himself with the team clearly intent on continuing the game indefinitely, the Ruinbringers. Each team's relative value is measured against the others using their scores, and a loss for the team is a loss for each individual within it. It is unclear whether these rules were first implemented in Shinjuku, but what is clear is that they seem specifically designed to eliminate players, counter to the objective of the game. For a little context, the game overall is a test for recently departed souls to see if they are worthy of having a second chance at life. In the previous game, Reapers were not allowed to touch players, and if they were, it was only on day 7 and only the game master. In this one, there is active counters to players and active interference. This is not a test to see if people can come back. This is to keep the game going on and on. A new player has joined the proxy's team. The inability of the composer and myself, the producer, to intervene puts Shibuya at a disadvantage, but this new recruit in Minamoto may help turn the tides. The team's new member, one Nagi Usui, is at once open-minded and closed off. Interestingly, this makes her the perfect foil to Tosei Furusawa. A healthy variety of personalities and abilities should benefit their team. Proxy has started using his powers in earnest. I can scarcely believe someone could have such a powerful latent ability. Latent powers are unique, naturally occurring Let me try that again. Latent powers are unique, naturally occurring abilities awakened by tuning vibes. These vibes originate from the higher plane and resonate with the soul of an individual, turning them into their dormant powers. Incidentally, these vibes are the same ones required for travel between planes. It is highly unusual for multiple players with latent powers to appear in succession. I suspect the pins found in the RG have been imbued with the tuning vibes for the express purpose of seeking out such individuals. The more hands the pins make their way into, the greater the chance of finding promising new players. However, the proxy's ability is a significant deviation from standard latent powers. It's far too dangerous. If I could, I would have ensured it remaining dormant for the sake of both the UG and the RG. It has the potential to not only warp, but demolish the lower plane's code. I wonder if the composer foresaw this and chose his proxy because of it. As we know from talking to Sheba, Reno's powers are kind of latent, but kind of not. They are affected by the, not the echo, wrong game, the reverb. Much like Sheba's powers given to him as the executor. And as we've seen, the birds that come from Reno's pin are meant to completely destroy the barrier between the RG and the UG and just cancel the city out entirely. This is basically what is meant by destroying the lower plane's code. So what exactly is the purpose of the Reaper's game? Let us review. I already went over this, but let's hear it from the horse's mouth. The explicit goal of the game is to locate exceptional individuals. Players of superior imagination are elevated to the higher plane and made into Reapers or Angels to aid in the oversight of the region. The UG is... Reapers or Angels? Really? You can become an angel from it. Huh. The UG is located on a higher plane than the RG. It is understood to be the afterlife, as the soul is modulated and relocated to the UG upon the death of the body in the RG. However, the proxy and his fellows were brought to the UG unmodulated. They have already begun to suspect that something is amiss in respect to both themselves and the Ruinbringers. The Reapers should be fighting for their lives the same as the players, but Shibuya's internal Reaper hierarchy is at a total standstill. 3 years ago, Shibuya's acting composer and conductor carried out a game to determine Shibuya's fate. The events that unfolded are now known as Shibuya's impurification. The hierarchy or hierarchical freeze presumably stems from opposition to the impurification. I detect a new set of vibes at the UG at the end of the day. It seems those pins have awakened new powers within someone and modulated them for entry into the UG, just like the proxy. This time, it is someone the composer and I know quite well. A turf war called the Scramble Slam has just taken place. The Ruinbringers declined to participate. If they had, they surely would have won, leading to a decrease in overall morale. I suspect this little diversion, which pits players against each other in place of noise, exists purely for the entertainment of the conductor. This week marks the 104th game under the current conductor. The Deep River Society, the Vera Beauties, and the Pure Hearts have all been subject to at least 30 loops. One sec. Okay. They're beginning to show signs of fatigue, presumably sensing the impossibility of the victory against the Ruinbringers. Perceiving the game as unwinnable has a marked negative effect on players' well-being. Proxy's team may be able to avoid coming in last place, but the odds of them toppling the Ruinbringers to claim the victory are slim, although anything can happen in this game. They may yet surprise me. Read a Momoto thing. 104 games... hey Siri. How much time is 104 weeks? Okay. Hey Siri. How many months is 104 weeks? Almost 2 years. Almost 2 years. So... Oh, that's interesting, actually. Because if the shift happens... Wait, hold on. If the shift happened 3 years ago, and the change in power happened 3 years ago, that means that there was kind of Sorry about that. Got some internet blips there. The shift happened 3 years ago, but it's only been 2 years under Shiba. That means that there was kind of a lull for a year. And 30 loops, 30 weeks, or 5 months, almost 6, 7, almost 8 months they've been playing this game. Like, these three groups have been playing this game. No wonder they're exhausted. Proxy's soul is beginning to change. Strangely, its evolution trends towards stagnation rather than development. It is almost as if the range of his vibes is shrinking. I believe this may be due in part to his readiness to adopt the opinions and values of others, mistakenly believing them to be his own. He seems to do this entirely unconsciously. He may never realize it's happening. Under ordinary circumstances, players in Shibuya's game pay an entry fee upon arrival, through which the composer offers them a chance to re-examine themselves. This game has no entry fee. The Shinjuku rules neither encourage nor allow for personal growth or change, making the game just that, a mere competition to collect points to prove one's worth. The Proxy's stagnant soul makes him the perfect user for his latent abilities. For better or for worse, he is able to maintain abnormally high levels of imagination, thereby increasing the accuracy of each replay. The pieces fit together almost too perfectly. I can only hope I'm overthinking things. Interesting. So, his kind of passive nature of, like, taking on everybody else's opinion actually helps him in that regard. I wonder what would happen if these abilities were awakened under a normal game. What specifically would happen with the replay. The Deep River Society has been erased in accordance with the rules of the game. The souls of all members, including the leader, are gone. The erasure runs counter to the goal of judging each player's abilities, but it is unsurprising considering the conductor's intentions. Upon witnessing the erasure, the Proxy's vibes have weakened once again. His increasingly hardened emotional state may be cause for concern. As suspected, the individual who arrived in the Proxy's moment of need was the source of the vibes I detected a few days ago. That must be Beat. It does not appear as if the composer has a hand in the sudden appearance of our old friend. In sharp contrast to the ever-active executor, the composer is seemingly biding his time. Although I am unable to make contact to confirm, I believe the reappearance of this particular individual works in Shibuya's favor. Minamoto, on the other hand, has all but vanished from the Proxy's side. His noise refinery sigil drastically heightens his imagination, which may be why he can clearly recognize the Proxy's abilities. I have an idea of what he's planning. It's dangerous, but I have no way of stopping him. Incidentally, the noise refinery sigil is a reproduction copied from the original state by a certain Reaper, that's Coco, and its completeness, or lack thereof, may be a factor in the subtle change in Minamoto's fundamental vibes. So Coco purposely fucked with the design of the sigil to, I guess, undermine Show's abilities, if I had to guess. 4 teams remain: the Ruin Bringers, the Pure Hearts, the Varied Beauties, and the Wicked Twisters. One may survive, and only one may survive and emerge victorious. At long last, the game approaches its conclusion. According to Shinjuku's rules, incoming players' abilities must exceed the total average imagination of the current players for them to be allowed into the game. As the game continues and lower-ranking teams are eliminated, the average rises, making it more and more difficult for newcomers to enter. That's why we didn't have any new teams. It's because, I guess, our team, or like our collective group here, had imagination so high that it set the bar to where nobody else can enter. Huh. With the Deep River Society gone and the Wicked Twister's impressive latent abilities, the average imagination has increased dramatically. Only an immensely powerful player can be pulled in at this point. It can be safely assumed that the game will continue and conclude with no more than the current set of players. The game will continue into next week after into the week after next at longest, but the conductor has yet to contact the composer. It is possible he is unaware of the higher planes purification protocol. If all goes according to the conductor's plan, he himself would be the victor of this game. Our new arrival has joined the Proxy's team, almost as if filling the hole left by Minamoto. Desukenojo Bito, also known as Beat, was a player in the game leading to Shibuya's impurification. His fortitude is remarkable, as is his soul and imagination. He should prove a powerful ally to the Proxy. And yet the Proxy's soul remains stagnant, or perhaps it would be more accurate to say he has stagnated further. I felt a similar shift 8 days ago when Minamoto joined the team. If this is the fundamental immaturity of the Proxy's soul, it will be difficult to bring to light, unlike Neku's leading up to the impurification. Proxy initiated another replay today. The resulting drastic increase in planar distortions indicates that at this rate, an explosive increase is likely after only a few more uses. However, the Proxy's pin is effectively absorbing the distortions, preventing the UG and lower planes from being affected at this time. The pin was designed specifically to delay until that final moment. As Shiba put it, it was basically a ticking not Shiba. Kubo. As Kubo put it, it was effectively a ticking time bomb designed to make sure that everything went off exactly how it's supposed to. Also, that's an interesting statement there. Fundamental immaturity of Proxy Soul will be difficult to bring to light, unlike Neku's leading up to the impurification. Neku was constantly being built up, was constantly being pushed in a direction to be a worthy proxy of Joshua throughout the game, whereas it seems like Rindo's soul is, for lack of a better word, being interfered with in terms of its development, either on purpose or just by the natural events of the game. All the Reaper stationed in Shibuya, including the conductor, would ordinarily be referred to as Shibuya Reapers, but ongoing conflict has caused those from Shinjuku to be called Shinjuku Reapers. Shinjuku's inversion 3 years ago jump-started its purification, forcing the Reapers to flee Shibuya. An inversion happens when the boundary between the UG and the RG is destroyed, forcing a purification. It occurs, albeit incredibly rarely, when the composer and conductor fail to agree on the purification. The composer's permission is not required for a Reaper to continue working in a new area. Such transfers are left up to the conductor. In this case, Shibuya's temporary conductor at the time authorized the transfer of all Reapers from Shinjuku to Shibuya, which would have been the conductor after, because Azuki was the game. Who was the conductor at the time? Huh. It's like no signs nor vibes of Shinjuku's conductor at the moment. I assume he was destroyed along with Shinjuku. Once purification has begun, it is standard for the conductor to be invited up to the higher plane. There is almost no evidence of a mass personal transfer after the erasure of a conductor in the past. Almost. Upon reviewing the records, I managed to find 4 cases where the affected area had fallen into imbalance before its purification was decided. One of those cases is Shibuya's impurification. The composer should file a report on the circumstances leading up to Shinjuku's purification at some point, although I doubt he'll do a thorough job of it, considering his disinterest in the lower planes. With Shibuya's composer giving his tacit approval to the Shinjuku Reapers, Shibuya's Reapers have no choice but to follow the rules given to them. Regardless of the true circumstances, Shiba Miyakaze has effectively become the conductor through legal means, as he was judged to be fit for the role. So, knock out anybody else who could fill that role, and Shiba was kind of the only one left. Also interesting to see that these Angels and Reapers have almost kind of a, like, you know, you gotta file the paperwork, gotta do things in a certain order, gotta get approval, or whatever the case is. Restlessness builds among the team leaders, and this proxy psychological state is far from optimal. I can only hope he will last a week. The team's base groove is abnormally low. In a system built around teamwork, such irregularities are certain to have a major effect on the outcome of the game. A network called the RNS was created specifically for this game. The ease with which it measures each individual's vibes and imagination makes it a useful tool for both the management of both players and Reapers. However, making this information viewable also makes it accessible from the RG. It can only be found by those who know of the UG's existence and are sufficiently proficient with networks. No modulation is required to communicate between planes this way, though it is yet unclear if other issues arise as a result. It's possible that communicating through the network could inhibit imagination, just as the full meaning and imagination of a work of art cannot be captured on a screen. I'm no longer active as Cat, but if and when I resume, I must keep in mind how my works will be perceived when shared digitally and alter my methods of expression accordingly. Perhaps the developer of the RNS could provide me with some insight in that regard. So that confirms that the producer is still Mr. Hanakoma. Hanakoma is still active. Unfortunately, it seems that he, Joshua, and Kubo are all prevented from interfering with this game with the game this time around. So they can only act as observers, nothing more. There's been a change in the proxy's psychological state, as well as an improvement to relations between the members of his team. This is good news. However, the proxy soul remains stagnant as ever. I have yet to fully analyze the stagnation, as I am currently unable to take any action beyond observing and hoping for the best. By Shinjuku rules, Reapers are limited in the actions that they may take. Of course, obstructing players is not allowed on a basic level. The primary enemies that players face are other players, namely those in opposing teams. Thus, any team aiming for the top must go through the Ruinbringers. The proxy and his team are taking a different approach against the seemingly unbeatable Ruinbringers. To what extent it goes against the rules of the game remains to be seen. I doubt the conductor will sit idly by and let them do as they please. If he is forced to make a move, things will either end very well or very poorly. As previously stated, the Reapers are not allowed to interfere in the game, and yet one of them is currently doing just that. It's possible that her Reaper status will be stripped from her, but where will that leave her once the game is over? Okay, I retract my previous statement then. Some of the base rules are still in play, including interfering with the players. But it's also kind of twisted, as Reapers themselves are players in this particular game through the Ruinbringers, so the waters are very muddy in that regard. But I'm assuming... No. The leader of the Pure Hearts, one Motoi Anazawa, has gotten himself into a dire predicament. While alive and online, he found himself as a loyal follower in the proxy. If Motoi Anazawa is to face erasure, it would likely have a significant effect on the proxy, though to what extent remains to be seen. Online communication can result in negative or positive outcomes, just the same as face-to-face communication. However, the opacity and anonymity accompanying digital communication leaves its participants more susceptible to misunderstanding. Ugh, that is true. It is very hard to read a text. It is hard to read the emotions and the actual intent behind the text. It must have been quite a shock for the proxy to see Moto Anazawa's true nature, which was invisible to him online. As predicted, Shoko Sakurana has been demoted from Reaper to player as punishment for meddling in the game and directly assisting players. Reapers face very few restrictions on the RNS. They may interact with the RG freely so long as they do not reveal their identities. But should they be demoted, their account is deleted and a separate player account takes its place. With their order count deactivated, Shoko Sakurane is no longer able to interact with the proxy as his online friend unless she chooses to reveal herself as such. She has aided the proxy via messaging up until now, but with that option no longer available to her, her next course of action is unclear. The conductor has made his intentions known to the players. Although it would be impossible for him to carry out his goal of destroying Shibuya merely as a conductor, he believes himself to be the executor as well, sent from the higher plane to purify the city. The pure hearts have been erased, as expected. Only 2 teams remain, discounting the Ruinbringers. With the Ruinbringers' true nature revealed, it is likely that the rules will change next game to reflect that the players stand to oppose the Reapers rather than each other. I detected unique vibes emanating from a certain inanimate object. I found it odd that the old stuffed animal should show up, but as it turns out, it is a temporary housing for a disordered soul. That's Mr. Mew. Shinjuku's conductor saved the soul it contains, paying the price with his own erasure, which I believe they alluded to before. But yeah, that's what happened to the conductor. He saved... God, my memory is terrible when it comes to names. He saved, God damn it. Anyway, he saved the girl and paid the price with his own hand there. An angel's power is needed to free the captive soul, but there is still no sign of the composer, and I am forbidden from meddling in the game. I doubt the executor would be willing to help, considering he most likely trapped it there to begin with. Our only available options are to leave the soul imprisoned or locate somebody else with the means to release it. I suspect... Sugimi, that was the name. Sugimi. I suspect the original creator of the stuffed animal, a player who managed to return to the RG 3 years ago, would be able to assist. Unfortunately, she is currently absent from Shibuya. The game's rules have changed significantly. Players, as well as Reapers or even the conductor, may erase their opponents after defeating them. At the same time the rules changed, Shiba made an unforeseen move against Shibuya. An inversion is underway. Players, as well as Reapers or even the conductor, may erase their opponents after defeating them. Huh. The noise released by the conductor have destabilized the code of the entire Shibuya region. The lower planes, including the UG and RG, are particularly unsteady. The code is a set of laws that binds together the souls that make up all of existence. Think of it as the screws which hold everything together. Some of Shibuya's screws are loose, and others have been removed altogether, leaving nothing to support the city but its own weight. In other words, Shibuya is on the brink of collapse. The deterioration of the boundary between the RG and the UG is being hastened by rapidly multiplying noise. If the boundary is lost, the city will be torn apart and purified. There are many in the higher plane who believe normal purification has no meaning, as it maintains the existing planar framework. However, it is generally agreed that inversions should not be utilized due to the complete loss of character the affected area undergoes, as this framework is destroyed and rebuilt. And yet the composer maintains his silence as Shibuya faces the same fate as Shinjuku before it. While Shibuya has undergone dramatic changes, the proxy's psychological state is surprisingly stable. This could be interpreted as positive personal growth, as he has come to understand the situations which he has been placed in, as well as what actions to take in response. Shoko Sakurane has joined the proxy's team. Her extraordinary powers should make a fine addition. One of the Shinjuku Reapers has been eliminated. I suspect the conductor saw this coming. Angels emit vibes strong enough to alter the minds of those in the lower planes. Reportedly, many Shinjuku Reapers have sensed a change in Shiba Miyazaki's personality over time. I wonder how he will feel about this after the executor leaves and allows him to return to his former self. The proxy has now used the replayability 8 times, his pin absorbing the resulting planar distortions and changing appearance with each use. At present, there are no apparent adverse effects. I am concerned about the physical changes to the proxy's pin. It may indicate some kind of fundamental difference from the other pins. Perhaps replay isn't a latent ability at all. It is far too powerful and would make much more sense as a gift bestowed upon the proxy via the pin. Player pins were almost certainly made by the executor, as an angel. He would be able to prepare special pins at will. It is unclear when and how the proxy acquired the pin. Logically, it must have been on the day he arrived in the UG. All I know for certain is that several factors influencing the proxy's fate were in play that day. In any case, to give him such a pin, knowing he's the composer's proxy would either be incredibly brave or incredibly insolent. But again, as we know, Joshua himself was the one that made sure that Rindo got the pin, so he knew exactly what he was doing. Also, that answers the question that might have remained about whether replay is actually Rindo's latent ability or if it was the pin. We knew this already from Kubo, much as the plague noise and Shiba's abilities were also not his own naturally. So we will actually never know what Rindo's latent ability is. If he has one. The very beauties have... interesting. The very beauties have been erased. This is a major blow to the proxy's team, as H.A.N.D Tachibana provided them with vital emotional support. Tosei Furusawa's soul is clearly the most heavily affected, despite his fundamental evasiveness and unwillingness to show his true feelings. Once experience leads to hold a certain belief, it is difficult to alter that mindset. This often leads to bitterness and anguish. I wonder just how much of his bitterness Tosei Furusawa will be able to bear facing. The answer may very well depend on the proxy and his teammates. Still, this is no time for idle talk. The proxy's team is the only one left. The conductor is oddly fixated on the team's unstable state. I would go so far as to say he seems more concerned with his enemies than the battle itself. As events unfold, it is not unthinkable that he might join forces with the proxy. With the conductor? Really? With the conductor's plans laid bare, every Reaper, particularly the Shibuya Reapers, will be forced to choose a side. Some of them who know what I am occasionally trying to contact. Read the whole sentence. Some of them who know what I am occasionally try to contact me, but I cannot respond. The Shibuya Reapers will need to grow and adapt if they are to overcome this. My old cafe on Cat Street, the one that served as my base 3 years ago, is always open to them. I hear that some drop by on occasion. Notably, the faint vibes I felt from Shinjuku have returned to their full former strength. Someone is coming. Someone who could help decide Shibuya's fate. Interesting. So the cafe is still there after all that time. We just didn't have access to it this time. Neku Sakuraba has returned to Shibuya. As I suspected, the vibes I picked up 17 days ago were his. Being the last team standing has provided the Wicked Twisters with a sense of unity, but Daisuke no Bito appears to believe it is his sole responsibility to carry the team. I cannot say he was wrong in his actions towards Minamoto, but the fact remains that he most likely would have been erased by the X-Reaper had Neku not arrived. The team has narrowly avoided disaster. Let's hope they can carry on that momentum. Minamoto's focus was purely on the planar distortions when he turned half noise and went berserk. He may not be able to suddenly measure the distortions from the UG, but that he can sense them at all is an impressive feat. I suspect he is also becoming aware of the distortions within himself, along with the fact that these distortions should be undetectable from the UG. Minamoto seems to have come to the same conclusion I have. Replay is too powerful an ability to be wielded by one from the lower planes. I'm beginning to piece together the Executor's plan. One more thing that concerns me is the proxy's soul. Its stagnation has returned in full force just when it seemed that it might finally fade away. There must be some cause for this, but be it the proxy's fear of Minamoto or uncertainty surrounding his own interactions with Neku. Neku Sakuraba has joined forces with the proxy. The composer has sent him from Shibuya into Shinjuku during its purification, presumably to have him handle the situation there and keep him isolated and safe from those who would target him for his abilities. As for the proxy, his soul remains stagnant. I have yet to identify what exactly is preventing its growth. This would be much simpler if I could sit down and talk with him. After repeated demands, I finally obtained the report on Shinjuku's purification. On the surface, the game involved a conflict between the conductor and the Reapers. In actuality, the composer, eager to purify Shinjuku, planted the executor amongst the Reapers to oppose and take down the conductor. This explains why the conductor was erased and the Reapers transferred to a new area. Tsugumi Matsune has had her suspicions about the executor, so he sealed her soul away to be safe. She was once a Reaper, though the executor removed her status after she allied herself with her older brother, Shinjuku's conductor. In Shinjuku, to lose your Reaper status is to be erased. Knowing he was defeated, Shinjuku's conductor used the lattice of his strength to save his sister's soul in a stuffed animal. The stuffed animal belonged to one Shiki Misaki. A Shibuya Reaper must have taken it to Shinjuku. As a result, Tsugumi Matsune became the lone survivor of Shinjuku's purification, once more a Reaper, but sealed away and closely monitored by the Executor. She acted through no will of her own, as her soul was trapped by noise. However, she was still able to send messages to the proxy using her latent trailer ability. The noise binding her is now gone. If the damage to the plus vessel can be fixed, her soul will be free. So that's what happened in Shinjuku. The conductor did not want things to happen. The composer did, so he allied himself with Kubo, and Kubo kind of took care of the rest, which... Wait a minute, hold on. The composer, eager to purify Shinjuku, planted the executor amongst... Wait, but I thought Kaz... or... I think it was Kaz. I think that was the name of the... I thought he was the one that sent Kubo down in the first place. Really? That's interesting. The Shibuya River is known to be a unique place, even amongst the entities of the higher plane. Its source is in Shinjuku, meaning it should have disappeared in purification, and yet it continues to flow unseen in its own plane. What an excellent idea to hide souls there to spare them from purification. Kaiichi Suzuki loved the game and cared for his compatriots more than any of the other Shinjuku Reapers. His actions leave no room for doubt. Most of the Shinjuku Reapers maintained the close bonds they shared back in Shinjuku. I know not what kind of Reaper Shiba Miyakaze was before being warped by the Executor, but judging by the Shinjuku Reaper's unflinching devotion to him, he must have been exceptionally charismatic. It is yet unknown if Shiba Miyakaze will be released from the Executor's influence at the end of the game. Even if he does manage to return to his former self, he will be forced to face the tragic reality that the loss of his friends was brought about by his own actions. Neku Sakuraba is wary of the proxy's powers. The pen continues to endlessly absorb the generated distortions. Absorb, but not destroy. They are likely being stored for some purpose. I wonder what the composer thinks of all this. There is still no sign of movement from him. Does he have a plan at all? Tomorrow will tell. The planar distortions caused by the replay were all part of the Executor's plan to purify Shibuya. The condition of the proxy and his comrades has taken a sudden turn for the worst. The ability to turn distorted energy into noise is entirely unique. It is likely latent to the Executor, either allowing him to create noise or granting him some comparable power. In essence, the distortions were once souls. They manifest from the thoughts of the... Oh, God, I need a drink. My mouth don't want to work no more. They manifest from the thoughts and lost time of those whose timelines were cut off from canonical history. The proxy's pin stores the distortions born from each abandoned timeline, causing them to behave similarly to their source thoughts and birth new distortions. In other words, the pin allows the distortions to grow and multiply with each journey back in time. The bursts of proxy saw are new distortions spawn from those stored in the pin, given an order-compliant and readily storable form. Generally, souls need a catalyst in order to take form. The Executor's pin must be the catalyst in this case, generating noise in advance and transplanting the distortion's imagination into them. The Executor is exceptionally adept at handling noise. There is a strong possibility that the noise's present bird form is temporary and will change at some point. Its shape is undefined and constantly changing. The proxy and his team have a tough battle ahead of them. Shibuya is in grave danger. This is not too unsimilar to what Hanako did when Rhyme got erased, or almost erased, back in the first game, transferring her imagination into noise form and storing it in a pin. It's the exact same thing, only on a very much larger scale. Shibuya has received a new visitor, one that even the composer must not have expected. It is the very same individual who drew up the report in Shinjuku's inversion. But why would he come to Shibuya? Probably not to take care of the Executor. Whatever business he may have, Tanzo Kubo can wait until after the purification. It seems that Shinjuku's composer, one Hazuki Mikage, has eliminated the Executor's noise and given the proxy another chance. I have an idea as to why. Shibuya's composer must be shaking his head right now. Shinjuku... Okay, wait. Shinjuku's composer... When Hazuki Mikage is eliminated... Okay, so Haz was an angel. He was an angel acting as the composer, and... Brother Tsugumi? Am I reading that right? No. Composer, not conductor. Okay, yeah, okay, so that, except the Sugami part. Yeah, okay, so the composer was an angel in Shinjuku. That's unique. Well, I guess that kind of makes sense. We don't necessarily know what Joshua is. He could be an angel. He's certainly not a traditional raper. I finally determined what was causing the proxy soul to stagnate, his fear of taking responsibility. When reliable allies such as Minamoto, Daisuke no Jobito, and Neku Sakuraba appeared and took the reins, the relief of being freed from responsibility stilled the proxy's mind. Ironic that it was the famously unsympathetic composer of Shinjuku that led me to this conclusion. Shibuya now owes its continued existence to the proxy's use of replay to undo its destruction. It is up to the proxy to decide whether or not to turn back time. He undeniably has that right. Shibuya has withstood destruction, but now it stands to face an even greater danger. The challenge before us is one we cannot refuse. The proxy's team faced a giant bird-shaped noise. It was reborn from the unstable blackbird noise, which was destroyed at the order level and reassembled. This is a clear act of interference by Shinjuku's composer. It allowed the proxy and his team to focus all of their efforts on one target. Wait, hold on, huh? The order level and reassembled. This is clear. Really? It was Haz that did that. Each feather on the phoenix's tail is the karmic representation of a single temporal reverse. Perhaps this is a manifestation of the Shinjuku composer's internal conflict. He's clearly taken an interest in the proxy and his teammates, yet his desire to see Shibuya purified is unchanged. I believe that this interference, dealing with the Executor, contact of the proxy, and meddling with the distortions was more than a simple apology to Shibuya. It provided the perfect excuse for Shibuya's composer to make a direct move of his own. However, Shibuya's composer failed to take the bait, remaining inactive to the very end. His reason for appearing to Neku Sakuraba and the others as they connected to Shibuya's imagination was not to help them, but merely to stabilize Neku Sakuraba's mind by reminding him he was there. A look over the vibes recorded by the RNS reveals no evidence of any outside interference. The Box's team defeated the Phoenix Cantus through their own and Shibuya's strength. And finally, now that the game is over, I finally have permission to contact the composer. Several days have passed since then, and the composer has already completed 2 orders of business. One of them concerns Neku Sakuraba. Using a sample from a parallel world, one where Neku never went to Shinjuku and instead lived peacefully in the RG for 3 years, the composer modified the space and memories around Neku so that he may once again reside in the RG without issue. This is not particularly unusual, as the same steps must be retaken when returning a Reaper to the RG. The other order of business concerns Shoko Sakurane. Her Reaper status lost, her destruction at the end of the game was all but assured. However, the composer saved her soul at the precise moment it diffused for deletion. She has been reborn in the RG in Shibuya. I believe this is a rare expression of gratitude on the composer's part. Gratitude towards the proxy, that is. The proxy has also returned safely to his life in the RG. Through him, I have learned much about the network as a simulated plane of existence, as well as its effect on human emotion. There is no denying its use as a tool to expand one's world. However, it is up to the user to explore and experience that expanded world for themselves, lest it remain a mere simulation. Enjoy the present and keep moving forward. Perhaps by refusing to interfere, the composer meant to convey to Shibuya the importance of accepting your circumstances and taking action yourself. And one final note, directed at the proxy, Rindo Kanade. The decision you made took courage, and I thank you for it. I sincerely hope we can meet in person someday. The world ends with you. It is your own mind and your own borders that kind of create your own perception of the world. This is something paraphrased, of course, not word for word, that was said to Neku in the first game, and that message is still very, very present here in the sequel. We've learned behind the scenes. We didn't get all the answers, of course. There's some stuff that is still left for interpretation, but we got a lot of answers into the behind the scenes of everything, and what a lot of things meant in terms of the game and just kind of the effect on Shibuya overall. But now that all that is here, we have one final task.
We're going again.
Time for one final route with the Phoenix Cantus. And you know what? I'm gonna let this cutscene play out again because it's really fucking cool and I love it. So once again, I will see you on the other side.
Time to reawaken Shibuya's imagination. Everybody ready?
God's willing.
Just breathe. We got this, boss.
I'm all fired up. Take care of Tsugumi, will you, friend?
I shall ease the burden on her psyche. You just focus on listening to their voices.
Great. Thank you, Hishima. I'll make sure their cries are heard. You can count on me.
And I'll reach out to Ryan.
Sounds good.
I don't know, Rhyme. You sure you can handle this, yo?
She can.
Yep, no need to worry about me.
Man, I still can't believe you came all the way out here, yo. Just look at you, all ready to save the city and shit.
Aren't you proud of me?
I'd be prouder if I wasn't so worried about
I
you.
know. But see, I made it. Safe and sound.
All that worrying for nothing.
Hey, can it, phones?
Wait, is Neku here too?
Yep.
I guess you're still in between worlds, while Neku's been completely confined to the UG. Rhyme! Sorry for the wait. No worries, Shiki. You're just in time. Oh, Beat. I'm so glad you're okay. Wait. He's here, isn't he?
Yep, right over there.
You mean you can see him?
See him, talk to him, smack him on the head if I want.
You finally came back to us. I knew you would. Neku, I don't know if you can see me right now, but I'm so glad you're here.
Shiki, I can see you just fine. And soon, you'll be able to see me too.
You want me to translate, yo?
Don't worry about it. We'll see each other later.
Oh, I just got a message from Kaie. Everyone, sync up with Neku's consciousness. Lend him your strength.
Been doing it for years, yo.
Okay, we should be fine, theoretically. But it's a lot of stress on Neku. I'm worried about him.
Don't be.
Said he'll be fine, yo.
Tell him he'd better be.
Commence Operation Awakening. Now!
Here we go. Focus.
Well, look at that. People are finally waking up around here.
Welcome back, girl. Kinda feels like the fog's starting to lift for me, too.
Oh, you've still got a long ways to go. Try a little harder, will ya?
Aye, aye. Never thought I'd say this. But I think it's time for me to get to work.
Can somebody explain how I got roped into this frickin' mess? This is like literally the worst. I know I'm irresistibly adorable, but can't you all just buzz off? Minimoto!
07734.
Ew. Hey! Don't just spout off numbers and walk away, you jerk! Whatevs, as long as he's doing his job. You better do yours too, Neku.
Hey, you good, Bones?
Neku? What's happening? Is everything alright?
Yeah. Tell her I'm fine.
Says to tell you he's good.
Well, we haven't got much time left.
Need a hand there, partner?
Josh?
Pris, kid?
No one invited me to this little reunion, so I invited myself. I must say, this is quite the impressive scheme you've devised. I hope you don't mind if I stick around and observe.
Not at all, partner. Okay. Get ready, guys.
The fated hour is almost upon us. What happens next is anyone's guess.
Tis ceaseless. Thoughts stream into my head, one after the other, fair and foul alike.
Whoa, are you okay?
Stay strong, Nagi!
It appears she's predisposed to absorbing negative imagination.
I feel fine.
Glad to be of service. I rechanneled that depressive energy outward,
Emotional redirection.
in a sense.
Those noise keep multiplying. Kaie, Sugumi, Hishima, let's go lend the boss a hand. We'll keep the noise at bay. You just do what you gotta do. Understood. I shall do my utmost. Open thy minds unto me, and pardon the intrusion!
Threat! Nagi managed to dive inside! You're up! Roger that, buddy! Time for a reminder. You ready, Shibuya? Come on, bang! It's time.
Yo, Rindo!
Speed, Neku! Nice work out there, you guys.
The once soundless city is silent no more. The people's voices are returning to the crossing. Huh. Sounds like Shibuya's already looking a lot better from their side.
We should be all set to intercept the noise. Remember, they're just mindless thoughts. Let's show them what Shibuya's made of.
Yeah, any minute now.
You sure we can win?
We have to. Can't play Fango if we don't.
Fango?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Whatever keeps you motivated, I guess.
Right on time.
Damn! How the hell they all fit inside that pin, man?
Look skyward!
What's happening?
It looks like they're fighting or something?
Those souls lost to time are trying to take control, but Shibuya's fighting back.
They stopped.
All that still ain't enough?
No, but it was enough to give us a good head start.
I think I see something. A bird? Sure is gaudy.
All those noise came back and merged into one, like some nefarious phoenix.
Come on. Let's erase this noise for good!
Truer words have never been spoken. It's time for one final fight against Phoenix Cantus and end this game for good. So we were actually able to like really take a look and see the kind of truth in what was being said in terms of like the actions of the secret reports, because you know, for example, as was okay, it's a little loud. It's a little loud. Turn it up for the cutscene. We can turn it back down now. As we saw, you know, Josh didn't do anything. He just kind of stood there and was just kind of a supportive figure.
Keep it up, brother. Let's wreck 'em.
I got you.
Come on, work on the... Yes! Good shit. That wasn't quite useful. That's okay.
Was that cool or what?
Not bad, I'd say.
We got this. I did it.
Hell yeah, you did.
Nice work, Fred.
Honestly, we're just gonna go through this. I mean, we are. That's what we're doing right now. But I don't have anything really new to say. This is the like 4th time that we fought this goddamn Phoenix.
Follow me, yo.
Copy that.
Is she okay?
Exquisite timing.
Well done.
It's over. Wow, I rolled. That was perfect.
But yeah, that cutscene is great. Like, just I love it a lot. Oh, we're gonna get thrown back again. Like it still has like an amazing amount of hype, even though we've seen it before.
Same here. Exquisite timing. We got this. It's showtime.
There's phase 1.
Is it over? Did we beat it?
Is victory ours at last?
Not yet.
Hold up. Something ain't right.
You're right. Look.
What in the world is it doing? I am so ready for this to be over.
Well, it ain't over yet.
Wouldn't be called Phoenix, Kansas if it didn't revitalize at least one time.
Oh, seriously?
Risen from the ashes. Is it immortal?
I don't think so. Let's finish this.
For real. Just keep hitting it till it stays down, yo.
That's about right. Start building up our thing here.
Move, y'all. Get out of the way.
We must weather this storm.
Yeah, this isn't necessarily that difficult of a storm to weather there.
Just gotta wait for an opening.
Well, we haven't got all day here.
Actually, funny enough, yes we do. And we got 300. Good shit.
Is it over? Not yet.
Okay, barrier time. Time for tendrils.
Strike back.
Is she? It's all my fault. For turning back time.
What are you talking about, Rin, dude? None of us would even be here if it weren't for you!
Yeah. Good point.
Gotcha! Quit it!
I'm counting on you.
Same here.
God. Ah. My targeting's off.
That was easy.
We got this!
That's a relief.
Just doing my job.
Like a boss!
Wow, I rolled.
Well done.
Each feather, a step closer to victory.
It's working!
Yeah, it is.
Rest until its fate is sealed.
I can keep going!
That's a relief.
You okay? Hang in there!
Getting sloppy. Not like it matters. There's really physically no way that it can beat us. Oh, there we go. Here come the... Really? We're doing this one again? Fine. Have some more of my dinner while I'm at it. As I said, it's not that's not really an attack that you have to worry about. Like, if you just
Made this thing any tougher, yo?
My bad.
Hey, quit apologizing and start attacking.
Okay!
shut up and do the thing.
You're done for!
Nailed it! I'm impressed.
You okay?
Nice one!
Great job!
That was easy.
We got this!
Nice one!
Keep it together. You okay?
Keep it together. You okay? Keep it together. You okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? I'm all right. Thank you, Deku.
We're almost there. Everybody ready? I am. It's my responsibility to make things right.
Rando.
This city isn't going anywhere. Good. Let's go.
Finally taking responsibility. Finally accepting his place in all of this.
You sure did.
Die already!
Just a little more. We've got this. Don't let up now.
Gotta say, Rindo, you sure have changed.
Huh?
Yeah, you're finally making your own decisions.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I am.
Little,
Let your guard down.
oh,
Roger that, yo.
little bit of a life lesson in all that
Almost there.
is that, you know, making your decisions is great. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to discount everything anybody says to you, but, you know, don't rely on everybody to make every single, you know, to say something about every single thing happens.
It is! So don't screw it up!
Get back here, you coward. Stop hiding below the fucking ground. Come on. You're such a cheater. Get up here.
Nice work, friend. That was perfect.
Face erasure.
Ah. I'm what? Game, I'm already set. I have 300%. Can't you read that? Come on, man.
We got this. Got it. Great job. Perfect timing. Nice work.
Again, this is an impressive boss until you fought it 5,000 times.
They'd be useful for once.
No sweat. How's that? Well done.
Get over here! Come on, man. Stop hiding behind the fucking walls.
Are we sure we can still do this?
One last hit! Everybody ready?
Really?
Let's make it count, yo!
You know I will.
This is it! We're gonna take back this city!
Fucking spirit bomb your ass! No, we go beyond unlimited power! Now, finally, my wrist can get a break.
Oh, damn it.
It's fine. Hey, look at that. And now we get just fast forward through 10,000 cutscenes. Because I'm not going through the entire ending sequence again. And there's Joshua. Which now we know what he actually did. God fucking damn it. My landlord, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him.
All I'm saying is I totes deserve a long vacation after this. I mean, I raised like a literal frick ton of noise.
You're not the only one who busted their ass out there. Could have earned a nice promotion for myself if I'd kept track of all the points I racked up.
Even you pulled your weight out there, Math Man. Gotta say, I'm looking forward to having you back on the team.
Huh. Don't try to integrate me with you garbage reapers.
Excuse you? Who are you calling garbage, you overgrown adolescent?
I'm trying to solve a bigger system of equations here. Those Shinjuku Reapers didn't factor into my calculations, but they did help reveal a hidden variable. The composer. Time to run some figures.
Is that number cruncher really trying to become the next composer? If so, he should work on his delivery. Less math for starters.
We're gonna watch this a little bit while I try and take care of some things here. This is why you don't write checks at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
If he, like, didn't do his own thing. He should, like, listen to his master.
Huh! Since when did he have a master?
Since I ever so graciously brought him back to life. Which means he owes me a super-de-duper big favor or two. And I'm totes gonna make sure he pays me back. Or he'll face super-de-duper big consequences.
Good luck to her.
She'll need it. There's no way he's taking orders from anyone. But enough chit-chat. It's time to get back to work.
You really went above and beyond, girl. If I didn't know any better, I would have thought you really did have a promotion on the line.
If only. All that hard work, and nothing to show for it but utter exhaustion. I think it's time I took a vacation.
How's about a bowl of ramen to kick things off?
Your treat?
My pleasure.
Then count me in.
Okay, back to it. Such a fucking pain to have to deal with checks every single week, every single month. But that's how my landlord does it.
Wait, Shiva.
Shinjuku Reapers are heading back.
Yo, Ron.
Beat's gonna kick some stranger's ass. We got this lovely fucking scene with their reunion! I love it. I think this is the new one. Nope. There it is.
A bit late to come groveling back, wouldn't you say, friend?
My apologies, friend. I never intended Shibuya any harm. But rest assured that as Shinjuku's composer, I have personally eliminated the cause of the problem. Is that enough to earn your forgiveness?
I appreciate you exercising the executor from the UG. But you really ought to be more scrupulous when engaging with the lower planes. Nobody likes a mess maker.
And all this time, I thought I was following in your footsteps.
Then you might need to watch where you're walking. Speaking of which, I saw you took a stroll around the city. Did you and Rindo have an illuminating conversation?
Weren't you watching?
Only a little.
I offered him an apology and asked him a few questions.
What about?
I thought he might understand why you opposed Shibuya's cleansing. So I asked what he thought about the city, hoping to glean some insight.
Another mess finally made. And? And? Was it insightful?
Not to the extent I would have liked. I still don't understand. Humans are the most irrational beings. That said, I was a bit surprised myself with how our conversation ended. For some reason, the boy was ready to risk everything for an unproven possibility. And all I could do was remind him to take responsibility for whatever decision he made. Almost as if I were encouraging him to take that risk.
Sounds like you acted a bit irrationally yourself.
I did indeed. Even entrusted him with that powerful pin, if you can believe it.
Well, you aren't alone. I too have fallen victim to that irrationality before.
Why do you think that is?
I can't say for sure, but one thing I've noticed is that every time I watch them try to overcome the absurdity of their world, I just can't help but hope they succeed.
And that, ladies and is it the same splash screen? Okay, I'm taking another picture. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Neo. The World Ends With You. That is it in its completion in terms of story, in terms of extra content. Obviously, there are still pins to collect, there are still records to collect, there are still foods to collect. That's all for the 100% completionist that just wants to do everything. I am a story completionist. I like to get as much story as I can out of it, and if I can't do it myself, then find a way to be able to show it off, because especially in these games that I stream, especially the ones that I feel extremely powerful about, that is something that I consistently want to share. I want to share my experience with everybody and indulge in the story once more with other people here. Yeah, we finally closed the chapter on this game. Well, I shouldn't say finally. It certainly was kind of a lot of ups and downs. Oh, and my wrist is probably going to pay for it for a long time, but it was worth it. 85% completion, level 80. And with that, we wrap things up. Now, it seems to me that they left enough in there for a possible third game. Like, it definitely seems that the possibility is there where they might actually make another game. Not that I'm expecting anything, and not that I'm guaranteeing anything, of course, because Lord knows I don't want to do that. But, you know, like, we got the stuff in Shinjuku, we got the stuff with Sho, we got the stuff with the Angels. Like, we barely scratched the surface on some of the higher planes. So there is definitely enough content for another installment. But whether or not that happens, we have yet to see. All I'm going to say is that I am extremely glad that this game came out. This was a fantastic game from start to finish. And I hate, you know, I kind of feel weird saying that after... Well, not really. A good game is a good game. That's really about it. It's just the... I have a love-hate relationship with Square. It's just... Ugh. Anyway. Yeah, I think I really got out all that I wanted to say last time. So... Without really dwelling on it, we're just going to gently wrap things up here and move on to other projects. December seems to be the month for completing stuff, as it turns out on this channel. So the question is, what next? Well, I was giving it some thought, and this was kind of a knee-jerk reaction due to circumstances, but we're going to be going back to a project that actually was never completed. And in technicality still isn't. It's one of the games that had probably one of the most emotional impacts on me. One, because of the time of year that I did it, and two, just because I don't know, it just struck a chord that was really good. John, who you may know from my chat, you may have seen him around the chat here. He was actually one of the people who worked on the music for a little game from Project BC called Vacant Sky, and that remake never actually got its completion. However, ever since coming into contact with John, I have actually gotten the files for the original game. I guess, before all of the routes, and they had a whole bunch of plans, and I'll go into it when we get there. And I want to find out how at least the base project was supposed to be completed. So we are going to go in and experience that together, as the next stream series is going to be Vacant Sky. I will have to try to figure things out because it is on a very tiny screen, and I just need to figure out how I am physically going to play that. But I am very excited for this project, and I don't know if I'm going to take a break between this project and that one, or if I'm going to jump into it right next week. But that is the next thing up on the docket. And then after that, we'll see where it goes. Not necessarily the longest of games, but I don't know how the original project is. I don't know if it still has the multiple choices. I want to, I want to see as much as I can from that game. So we will see where it takes us, and then figure things out later. So, she lost in the end. Look at that. That is that. As for the rest of this week, I'm not going to see anything else here on this channel, really. Was supposed to start Kingdom Hearts tomorrow over on the Twitch channel. However, it is the Game Awards tomorrow, which we completely looked over when making the plans there. So we're going to have to push that back, and I actually rearranged my schedule both for just rest period and also to try and jump right into Kingdom Hearts. So I'm actually going to be going to visit my dad next week, which means that we are not actually going to be starting Kingdom Hearts until 2 weeks from tomorrow, which 21, yeah, which is the week right before Christmas. Look at that. So that's gonna be pushed back, and that'll be over on the Twitch channel though. On Friday, I will be joining Chris over on his channel for some more Pokemon Violet. We're doing the Pokemon series over on his channel this time around. Saturday is not going to be anything. Sunday is not going to be anything. Those two are related. We have a concert on Sunday. Myself, Chris, and Pooja are involved. So we want to take Saturdays to kind of vocal rest. And obviously Sunday we're going to be at the concert, so we can't, no streams there. On Monday, I'm going to be back for some more Horizon Forbidden West with Chris. We are slated up, at least from my perspective, we are slated up to begin Endgame. However, now that we have a new asset, we're going to be going around and just trying to complete as much as we can. So that's probably going to be pushed off for a few more streams, which is fine. There's really no rush on that. What else? Next Tuesday, I will be joined by PJ and Suzie back here on this channel as we wrap up Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire, that project that seems to have been going on forever. we are finally going to be going into the last stream of it next Tuesday, and then next Wednesday, if I don't take a break, which, knowing me, probably won't, we will begin our new journey through Vacant Sky. In terms of video stuff, the only thing I have going on is having to still download and edit the last stream of Lightning Returns, because Square and or YouTube in all of their glory has decided to block the stream altogether for just a tiny little bit of visual audio content. And I will actually be right back. Sorry about that. What was I saying? Oh, yes. Yeah, unfortunately, that last stream will be pushed off because it is a 9-hour stream. So even if I just... And I can't edit it through YouTube because it is 9 hours. So, I have to figure something out with that. This is also assuming that the appeal bounces back, which I don't know. I don't know how long they're going to take on that. So I want to have a backup just in case. So that's going to push back Lightning Returns for a bit. Yeah, that's really about it. Also, down in the... Oh, well, actually, one more thing. Down in the description is my Ko-fi account. I don't have Super Chat here on YouTube. My Twitch following is enough to where I can really make money there, even though I am an... not a partner. The other thing that's not partner. So if for some reason you like this content and you think that it deserves financial compensation, whatever, that is a way that you can support me. It is all completely voluntary, but I do appreciate what I can get. Yeah, that's really about it for me in terms of Chris's channel. As I said, the only thing that's really going on right now is Pokemon Violet series with everybody. It's a full group stream there. Paige's channel isn't dead. Rose Gaming and Romo's Art, Suzie's Gaming and Art channels are also not dead. He's working on DMC stuff, and she's still working on editing DMC stuff for the gaming channel. And there may be some sprite work here and there on the art channel, but that's really all the information I have. However, got a whole bunch of variety across these 5 channels here. Everything is down in the description for your convenience, so you can check it out. Definitely go check it out. If you like what you see, continue supporting us more by leaving a like, leaving a comment, sharing it with your friends so the word gets out. And if you want to continue to follow our exploits, click that subscribe button and click that bell so you're notified of everything that we do when we get around to it. But of course, I would be remiss if I did not mention the 5th member of our group, that is Pooja, or Smiley, depending on how you... I gotta adjust the script there. Pooja, Smiley, Moon, however she wants to go by. She doesn't run a channel, but she does join us from time to time. Currently, she is in the Pokemon Violet series. She is also part of the Earthbound video series on Chris's channel, and the... Fire Emblem Three Houses series on this channel, which has been in a very long hiatus. It'll come back, but it has been in hiatus for quite a bit now. You know, the five of us get together every week. We're a very tight-knit group just to hang out, have fun, play games, sometimes make content, sometimes do other things. We do it because it's fun, and with so many projects on the docket, like we're talking, like I go through the stream schedule every single stream, just like the channel schedule every single stream, and for each of those days there's his own list of things to do. So we're gonna be here for quite a while. As an audience, I want to thank you guys as well for joining us in whatever capacity and for however long you take time out of your days to do so. I very much appreciate any support we can get, and I very much appreciate you guys coming along for the ride, and hope to see you guys involved and staying involved in future content as well, whether that be streams or videos, in the chat or comments respectively. Yeah, just thank you. But it's time we end the story of this particular Shibuya and move on to other things. So, as the final curtain falls on this production, and we take our final bows, I take my final bow. It's just me today. I take my final bow. For one final time, I would like to say thank you guys for watching. And if you don't care about anything else, most likely I'll be here next week for some more the start of Vacant Sky. Otherwise, there's plenty of content across the next 7 days you can check out in the meantime. But I'm gonna head on off stage right, and I'll see you guys later. Good night, everybody, and thank you.